Whenever it comes to my collection nowadays, I mostly just collect model kits, especially Gundam. They're just extremely affordable and they're honestly pretty easy to find, at least where I live, making collecting them extremely easy and very enjoyable, as I can just go into a store and find a kit that I've never seen before. And honestly, I don't even just collect Gundam. I collect many other Bandai lines, mostly just the robots, but I also do dabble in some other companies' model kits, as honestly, building anything is just extremely enjoyable to me. By far, the second most prominent thing I collect are action figures. There's something really nice about just being able to open up a box and getting your figure without having to build it sometimes. That is something that I do enjoy. And whenever it comes to Gundam action figures, I only have a couple Gundam Universe action figures because they're honestly pretty cheap. But there are other Gundam action figures out there, specifically Robot Spirits. This is a much more expensive alternative to Gundam Universe. However, Robot Spirits figures are smaller. They are in line with the 144 scale, while Gundam Universe figures are in between 144 and 1/100 scale. The one I specifically bought was the Gym Commands from the Blue Destiny side story. It's pretty much just a Gym Command with a different shield and having a different couple accessories, but this figure is by no means cheap, even though I did get it on a sale. So today I'm going to be taking a look at it to see if it's worth the almost $60 I paid for it. Welcome to the Creators channel. My name is Grant. Let's get right into the review. Here we have the Robot Spirits Gym Command from the Blue Destiny side story. And overall, this is a pretty cool figure. We're not going to talk about price right now. We'll get to that later. But from objectively, this figure is extremely cool. It isn't one-to-one, the Gym Command. It is missing like an antenna on the shoulder. And whenever we get to the accessories, the backpack and the shield are a little different. But the robot itself is, I guess the mobile suit itself, is pretty much just the Gym Command. I'm not going to be super picky about it. It even includes a couple little decals on there. The box is definitely taking away some of the focus. But it does include a couple decals on there, which is really nice. And overall, it looks to be painted extremely well. And I do have the box in frame because this figure was very expensive. And the box feels premium, I won't lie. It definitely has a certain just vibe to it that definitely feels like not only a toy, but also a premium action figure as well. And it also just serves as a good space to keep all of its accessories separate from all my other high-grade accessories. But now we're going to talk about the price. This figure retails for $75 USD. That is 2-3 times, well definitely more than 2, but probably getting close to 3-4 times as expensive as the high-grade Gym Command. And while this figure is better, I don't really know if it is 3-4 times more expensive better. To me it is. The Gym Command is one of my favorite mobile suits, but for general collectors, I think the HG Gym Command is going to be adequate enough. But this figure is still extremely cool, I won't lie. And having a Robot Spirits figure finally, after I feel like it is a part of the hobby I've been kind of missing out on, is definitely really nice, especially since it is a very, very needed upgrade from the Gym Command high grade. And by far one of the best things about this figure is that it has the much more updated Gym Command head. I don't know when it was, but they did redesign the Gym Command head to have a much bigger visor and a thicker helmet. Whenever we get to the comparisons, the original Gym Command helmet is a lot thinner and the visor is less prominent. But eventually they gave it this design, which I think looks a lot better with the much more prominent visor and the thicker head. I think it looks a lot better. Overall, the figure is painted pretty well. It is missing like a back head camera on there. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. But it looks really nice, I won't lie. And the articulation is extremely impressive. So let's get into it. Articulation for this guy, he has a pretty expressive head overall. He does have outwards at the shoulders. They are on a ball joint of some kind, but you can rotate those all around. The shoulder pad can also move pretty well to get out of the way. You do have 90-degree rotation at the arms, but you also have a wrist rotation that can go up, and the wrists are on ball joints. So that wrist extra articulation is very, very nice. Although I would wish that it would move up more, like the actual bicep, this definitely does work well enough. You do have an ab crunch, which is really cool, and 360-degree rotation. The hip skirts can all move pretty well out of the way except for the back, but the legs themselves do limit articulation, like they can't get out to the side as well, but they do kick up very, very nicely, and they have a pretty nice leg bend as well as front and back and pivoting at the feet. By far the coolest thing is that some armor pieces do bend inside the armor to get some pretty good articulation. I think that's really cool that some of the armor does hide inside. It's prominent with the back of the legs especially, and with the front of the arms. Some of the armor also does bend inside, if we can see. That's very, very cool, and it does let this guy be pretty articulated overall. The articulation is a little probably above adequate, I feel like. It can do the job, and it can do the job a little bit better. So let's get into all the accessories, because there is a whole bunch. Moving on to the accessories, it does come with some holding hands, and 2 sets of each of these. Right now on the mobile suits, I have a trigger finger hand and a holding hand. You have a pair of relaxed open hands, a pair of expressive open hands, and then you have a pair of fists. So definitely a lot of hands. We also do have the backpack. The backpack is pretty nice. It is definitely not the standard gym command, but you do have these 2 holders for the weapons, and there are also holes on the bottom of the thruster for effect parts. I think we've all seen, like, they just peg in like that, and they look pretty cool. I won't lie. There, now it's focused. The effect parts are pretty cool. They just have a couple of, thrust effects, and then eventually a much longer thrust going forward. Very nice. And it pegs onto the back of the figure pretty well. It does a very, very nice job with that. Next up, we have the beam sabers. There are 2 straight beam effects and 1 very nice curved beam effect. These beams are extremely massive. I mean, comparing them to just a standard HG one, that is a curved one, but we can also look at that one in a second. They are a lot thicker by far, and then with the curved one, it's honestly about the same. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the same mold. But those beam effect parts are really nice in a very, very nice shade of pink, and they do plug into the back of the skirt. Just be careful. The beams are very, very tight, including with the beam sabers and this. I've seen a couple of reviews where these have actually broken if you're not careful enough. So just be probably a little gentle with those, and it should be fine. Mine haven't broken yet, and I've removed them plenty of times. I've just been fairly careful. Next up, we have the shield. This is more of a gym ground command shield, but it is with the this version of the gym command. And it does have a handle as well as a hole for a couple of optional parts. You do have this one that can fit into the backpack, and then you have a much more standard bracket for the arm. Honestly, both of these don't really work that well. You can actually just fit this inside of the hand just fine, and it holds completely okay. So I don't even use these 2, but it's pretty nice that they were included as an option, but the gym command holds it completely fine. Next up, we have the first gun. It is this, I don't actually know what the gun's called, but it is definitely a gym gun. It comes with the gym ground command HG. So I'm having a harder time focusing. There we go. And you just kind of put it in the hand. I'm using a different hand for this one, but you just kind of get it in there and then move the trigger finger. It's a little easier to do when it's not so far away from you, but it does hold pretty well, and it does stretch the hand out a bit, so just keep that in mind. That's why I'm using the opposite hand that I don't have on the gym command right now, but it does look pretty nice. It doesn't have the green lens in there, but that's fine. This is definitely a nice accessory to have, but the other gun is definitely the more prominent gun. But it does fit on here pretty well. Just kind of snaps into place, and it can move pretty well, and you can get your guy to grab it off his back. It's actually a really, really cool gimmick. I like that quite a bit. Next up, we have the like the Gym Command gun. It's pretty much what's known for. It has this really nice red and white, almost kind of reminds me of like an air compressor tank. It's not focusing very well, but there is some text on there. There we go. There's the text on it. UNT Spacey. I'm assuming that might be the pilot or something, but it's on both sides. And this gun looks pretty nice. It's very close up because it won't focus, but it does have the red and white tank, which is something that the HG doesn't have. And fitting it into the hand is very, very simple. Just kind of put it in there. And it also does have a beam effect part, which is very, very nice. It works with the other gun as well, but I don't know if the other gun actually shoots beams. I'm not super familiar with that one, but this one definitely does. And it looks nice, especially in light. There's one more accessory. There is this thing. I'm assuming it is some kind of stand. Don't know what it's for, but it is in here. I guess I appreciate it. It's just like a standard high-grade connection. You can just plug it into the underneath. It doesn't come with a base, though, not that I know of, not that I saw in the box. But it's in there. It's definitely an accessory. Overall, this figure comes with a whole bunch of accessories, which is very, very nice. It's kind of like when a Voyager Transformer comes with a bunch of accessories and they make it a leader. Definitely not like, if this figure is probably no more than 40, so the rest would be 35. This is not $35 worth of accessories, in my opinion, at least. But they are nice inclusions, nonetheless. Let's get into the comparisons. Here are the comparisons. We're starting off with the HG Gym Command. First off, this one is taller. It's not that much taller, not that big of a deal. But you can definitely tell that it is missing the antenna right here. And turning around the back, the backpacks are very different. But overall, I mean, I'll take those minor inconveniences for a much better looking figure, in my opinion. You can definitely tell what I meant by the head, where the head is overall just a little bit thinner. The visor is a little less prominent. I think that the new head design is very, very nice, and I like it a lot. Also, the gun on this one is not, no sticker, no nothing. So I pretty much just wanted this to get a complete upgrade of this figure. This figure is definitely not bad if you just want a Gym Command, especially the space type. But as a person that really likes the mobile suits, this figure is definitely a very nice upgrade. Next up, we have it with the HG Gym. They look pretty nice together, even though, the color's a little different. That's actually pretty accurate. There it is next to the Gym from Build Fighters, the Zaku 2 Revive, the Revive Gun Cannon, the Blue Destiny Unit 1. Here we have it next to this Blue Efreet. It shares a lot of the same parts as the one from the Blue Destiny side story. I just don't have that one, but this is the closest one I have. The RG 2.0 Gundam. Next, we're going to do some much more general comparisons. We have it next to a Deluxe Class Transformer, Solus Prime. Standard 6-inch figure, the Black Series Phase 1 501st Clone Trooper. Then there is a Lego minifigure, the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. It is pretty small. Actually, you can just see the head of it right there. And then a Sharpie. So, is this worth the almost $60 asking price I paid for it? To me, absolutely. It's one of my favorite mobile suits, and it's a really, really nice, solid representation of it. For most people, nah, you can probably skip on this one. I still think a lot of Robot Spears figures are very overpriced, especially since you can just build the figure yourself for a significantly cheaper price. But honestly, if you ever want like one of your all-time favorite mobile suits, it might be worth it to you. Just make sure that you try and find it for a good sale. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.